when you get the K-400, it's going to come with these set of tools and the heads on this ring and a plastic cap. You take your cap off, you pop the ring open and take one of your heads off. The head replacement system on this is pretty simple. It's the same on almost every one of the RIDGIDs, and it's the same thing. You see this depressible button here? You push it on, you depress the button with this little tool and slide it on into place. It's locked in at this stage. In order to remove it, you'll see that there's a bevel on the head of that. You put it bevel head down so it depresses the button for you. Twist it so that the bevel head's away and the head slides right off. Using this machine itself is pretty simple. You want to make sure you're within 2 feet of the of whatever you're ramming this into to clean out whatever blockage is in there, because what you don't want is this thing torquing and whipping around on you. That's where it's dangerous. Two most important things to keep in mind. Of course, the direction goes into everything from hygiene to keeping kids away to, you know, GFI to make sure that you're plugged in. This machine is GFI, but you got to make sure your plug is grounded. Those are other things to keep in mind, but the specifics for me that I always think of, one is that this thing doesn't whip on me, and two, that I don't get a glove or anything else tangled in this, because it won't stop. It'll just hurt you. So let's go ahead and operate the head of this so you can see. I know that forward on this machine is this direction and reverse is this direction. That's the benefit of the Autofeed. It's in neutral right now and spinning. That's forward. That's reverse. You can do it manually as well when you're first feeding it into a pipe. You can pull out sections and push it back in again. Make sure you don't overextend this past its 100 feet. Getting this reset is a pain. Also, make sure you don't feed it back up into this tube. It's no good for anybody. I'm afraid that this little spar tip or one of these other tips will jam on this and you'll have trouble. So when you're working this in a blockage, what'll happen is you'll have it out, whatever, 10 feet, 50 feet, and you'll find it starting to torque up on you as this binds and creates some tension. This machine has an auto torque on it that prevents you from building too much pressure, but it's really up to the user to observe the metal starting to bind and starting to torque. When that happens, that means that this spring steel that's in this is springing. It's creating pressure. That's good for making this head twist and turn where you want it to. But when you hit a blockage and it starts to bind, that's when you back off, go in. Back off, go in. And you can see how if you're doing that, you'll work your way through a blockage. The key isn't to get anxious and drive it deep into it and then try to get something done. The key is when you hit the blockage, back off a little, let it spin, work its way around in that blockage, move it forward another 1/4 inch, let it swirl around for a minute, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you have an idea what the blockage is, you have an idea how long you need to let it swirl in one place. And eventually, just by working it through, pulling it back so that you're kind of spreading out the blockage, you'll clean your drain. It's that simple. We just had a guy rent it, and he was raving about the auto reverse function on it. If you've ever done it manually where you're trying to muscle a moving cable back and forth to do what I just showed you or with this auto feed function, you'll never do anything else other than auto feed again.